Atlanta, you're listening to the Abbie Knights Morning Show, the #1 party show in the city.
Has time. Intercepted down the middle. George Wilson. Touchdown, Buffalo.
I got tons of soul on my true collectible. Famous, so famous, #1 desirable. I do what I want when I want and how I want it. Leave you with the one in the air, that's how I roll. I got tons of soul on my true collectible. Famous, so famous.
What's going on, everybody? And we're back with retired NFL superstar George Wilson. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. And yourself?
Pretty good. Can't complain. Trying to stay away from all the Rona strands that are floating around everywhere.
Oh, yeah. We got to be safe out here, especially right now.
How have you been doing? You with the mask
I've been
situation?
doing good.
Yeah?
Yeah. You got to mask up. Got to protect yourself, protect others around you, all that. Doesn't make me uncomfortable one bit.
So we know that you're super fashionable. So what are you doing with the mask situation? You got a matching piece with it, or are you just doing the straight up just the K95 ones?
Yeah, I'm just Reggie Miller. Yeah, I'm regular. Yeah, I'm just going with the what's gonna protect me, Yeah.
I like it. So I know a lot of people may be familiar with you from your career in football, but there's a lot more to you than what you did on the field. So I think a lot of people would probably be surprised that you have a great sense of humor, and that you're not a super serious guy all the time, but more so than anything, you're super dedicated to giving back in the community, which we'll dive into later. But I thought, why not try to dive back a little bit, turn back the clock a little, and try to allow people to get to know you before you became who you were to the public eye. So you ready for it? We won't put you in the hot seat, don't worry.
It's all good.
So you're from Kentucky, and we know that, you've grown to be very charming, very accomplished. You've done quite a bit in your career, had a longer career than a lot of athletes. Why is the Paducah community so important to you?
It's my roots. It's where I come from. All of my teachers, my coaches, church members, my family. It's where we all come from. And growing up in small town in Western Kentucky, it wasn't, we didn't have the amenities that come in, with living in major cities, urban areas, but we're close-knit community. It's about family. It's about helping each other. And, small town living is something that never gets old to me.
So what's your favorite childhood memory, if you had to pick one?
Oh,
have
man,
one?
it's too tough. Yeah, I don't have a single memory. I just had a great
What?
childhood,
There's not one moment that stands out?
No, because I had so many great moments, whether it was, in athletics or here at the farm or, at school, so I was exposed to a lot. My mom, we didn't have much, but, we had each other. And when we did have an opportunity to, we did do some traveling. My dad lived in New York. And so my sister and I used to spend our summers up there. But, most of my upbringing was here in Paducah, here at the farm. Where I'm currently am. When I wasn't playing ball or when I wasn't in school, I was working in the tobacco fields with my grandfather. When we weren't working in tobacco, we were chopping wood, for firewood. He sold firewood, as a hustle as well. And so I've just been, a very, blue collar, hands on, get down in the mud and get dirty, kind of work ethic ever since I was a kid. And so that has sustained me up to now throughout my playing career and beyond. It's the same work ethic that I apply to the farm now that I'm the steward over the property.
I love it. Who would have thought, right? Superstar on the field actually likes to get down and dirty on the farm and put in that work.
I don't think anybody expected me to be getting into farming after football. At least I didn't. So I don't think anybody else did as well. But it was something that I think it's my calling. I had some opportunities if I wanted to get into coaching or some broadcasting. And while those are, great opportunities, it was not something that I was ready to do at the time. And while I was transitioning from the game, I found the farm. and the farm became my refuge. It became therapeutic for me. The
Mm-hmm.
farm gave me the structure and the schedule that football gave me. And I was initially kind of lost coming out of football, but the farm gave me direction. It gave me um, a sense of a newfound purpose, and so it's given me a platform to create my vision to be able to impact my community, the Paducah community and beyond, for good.
I love it. You're so dedicated to everything you do, which is so cool because a lot of times it's hard to make that transition from everything being, what everybody knows as the fast life to just everything being kind of quiet and more structured. I was curious, how would your family describe you as a kid? If we talk to any of your relatives right now, what would they say about George as a kid?
I was bad.
You were
Definitely.
bad?
I was,
What?
yeah, I was
Look
bad.
at
I was
this
always
face.
into something. Yeah, I was always into something. I was, throwing rocks and just doing stuff that kids do, with my siblings. That with my mom, when we got spankings, she used a paddle. She had one of those old paddle balls with
Yeah.
the rubber balls with the rubber band on it, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, she broke that off, and it was pretty thick, and that became our paddle for when we got spankings in the house. And so
Oh no.
um, everybody in the household knows that I got the most spankings, and so my brother at one point wrote my name on the paddle. Hey, this is G's butt whooping paddle. So,
What?
but yeah, I
With
was I
this
was I was
face?
bad. Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was a rock slanger. I was a biter. Like I was. Yeah,
You were getting
I
in
grew out.
trouble.
I had to grow out of. But yeah, I was definitely always into something.
So how did you go from that? For everybody listening, we were showing some of the pictures of George when he was a kid. How did you go from getting into so much trouble to discovering your passion on the field? Was it always football or was there another dream? Like did you want to be a firefighter or something?
Well, the main thing was I just always had energy. I had a unlimited amount of energy. I could go all day, all night, and so it was about redirecting that energy towards something that was constructive. And so my mother put us in athletics from before, year round. Basically, I played football, basketball, baseball, ran track, all while working at the farm and going to school. So, that's something that she always believed in was, keeping us busy and keeping us occupied will be a good deterrence for and distraction for being able to have opportunities to get in trouble.
What didn't you do? You played almost every sport. Did you have one that was more of a favorite for you? Or like was football always the one you gravitated towards or did you always feel like maybe you like basketball more?
No, I liked all sports, but definitely football was always my favorite. It was my first love. It
Mm.
was something that my dad played, my brother played, a lot of my cousins played, and so it was in my bloodline. It was in my DNA, and so. But we also were good. I had cousins that played Major League Baseball. So we have athletes in our family, and so we just play multiple sports because we believe that all sports benefit each other. Each sport specializes in a different skill set or a different way to use your skill sets. And so my mom believed in just keeping us busy and exposing us to different team settings, different sporting and competitive opportunities to be able to grow us not only athletically but also personally and socially.
Your mom sounds like she's an amazing person, but like someone you don't want to play with at the same time
Well,
though.
she was a nurse. My mom's a nurse of 42 years. She's retired now. But
Mhm.
anybody that knows a nurse or somebody that cares for sick people, they have a heart of gold. They have a very
Mhm.
giving spirit because they put themselves after the people they care for, and so they're such giving people. And she's no different. Single mother, raising three kids. She'll tell you she didn't do it by herself, but my mother made sure she was there for us. She made sure that we had what we need. It may not have always been name brand or abundant, but we had what we need and we had each other. And, that's the main thing.
I think nowadays people are realizing more than ever how important it is to just have one another, especially with the climate that
Yeah.
we're living in.
Yeah. I think the pandemic made everybody slow down. And, initially, I think a lot of people
Yeah,
are ready
initially.
to get back to normal. But,
Hmm.
initially, I think it gave us an opportunity to slow down and redefine what matters and reprioritize what we should be giving all of our time and attention, or more of our time and attention to, and not just work, 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 and being on the go, taking care of business, away from our families. And so I think this pandemic has, if you took advantage of it, has allowed you to um, take advantage of the time that you do have to spend with more time with each other, but also be able to have that structure and be intentional when we do go back to some sense of normalcy, to be able to maintain that family time as a priority.
Yeah, and I think it's crazy that it takes something like this for people to really realize that. I know we've talked a little bit about your childhood, but if someone were to go to your Instagram, a lot of your pictures are kind of serious or whatever. You're goofy, you're playful, you got good jokes sometimes. What's something most people wouldn't know about you?
Hmm. Something they wouldn't know about me. That's tough.
Let's see.
Abby, I'm close to the vest, so um,
Like, we all know
I
you're
don't
an
know.
athlete.
I
We all
can
know you work out. We all know you get down on the farm. You're a hard worker. But, you're
I
also
can cook. I can hold my own in the kitchen.
you can cook? Okay, what you
I'm
throwing down in the
independent.
kitchen?
Yeah,
What's your favorite dish?
I mean, my friends like my pot roast. That's something I do. That's always a crowd pleaser. What I do, it I always have friends coming over when I do that. But yeah, that's definitely my go-to when I got people over. I can do it pretty easily, and I can do it, abundantly, where I got enough to feed a bunch of people. You give me a couple crock pots, I can feed the whole family.
Okay, can you bake too?
Like, no, no, I'm not a baker. I'm not
Like,
going.
nah, nah.
My version. No, no, no. My version of baking is gonna be like, the Pillsbury, ready bakes. All I got to do is put them on the cookie sheet. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna do a whole
You're
lot
not gonna
when
do
it
the
comes
whole
to
thing
that
from
baking.
scratch.
No, no, I'm gonna let somebody else do that. I'll buy that.
I love it. So you guys already know, not only does he put in work on and off the field, but he can cook too. So I guess when people need plates, they're gonna start hitting you up now.
Well, hey, if I can do it, I'm gonna do it. If I can't, I won't. But I ain't gonna put
Right.
myself out here too far though.
Right. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with George Wilson. So make sure you guys don't go anywhere. You're listening to The Abbie Knights Show. The BiOptimized Humans achieve ideal levels of aesthetics, performance, and health. It's a state of existence where all the body and brain's functions operate in perfect harmony. A symphony of the factors flowing in optimal quantities and qualities. We have world-class biologists to create the best in-class formulas. Our mission: end physical suffering by optimizing digestion, optimizing brains, and activating BiOptimized health. We've been optimizing humans since 2004. BiOptimizers. Use code Abbie10 for discount at checkout. And we're back with George Wilson, football superstar, humanitarian, philanthropist. The list could go on and on. We've been talking about his childhood, about how he gets down in the kitchen, which might be surprising to a lot of people. A lot of people say they can cook, but it's not always edible. So you know how that goes. You ever been in that
Yeah,
scenario?
that's the test. Yeah, that's the test. If you cook for a lot of people and you got a lot of food left over, you probably need to go get some more practice.
Yeah.
Try some different recipes or some different dishes altogether. But It's a good sign if you got a bunch of empty pots and pans at the end of everybody eating.
What's the best reaction if you have you ever had someone cook for you and the food wasn't good? Like, how do you react to that? You still got to pretend you like it, right?
Yeah, yeah, you do. I think you got to reward
You
the
just say
effort.
you're full. You're
I
full.
don't think. Yeah, I haven't had any. I don't think any experiences come to mind in particular. But if I were in a situation, I think you just got to fight through it. Unless it's like overly seasoned, you got to just. I'd rather it be bland. But if it's overly seasoned, that's the only way. That's
Yeah,
the deal breaker. Yeah, you
you
can't be
can't do that.
consuming all that sodium like that. No, 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 not at all.
You mean you don't want to be putting water down the rest of the evening?
No, 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 not at all. Yeah, we might as well just throw it away. Yeah,
Yeah,
if
just
you
call it
can't
a
rinse it
day.
off,
Go
throw
out
it
to
away.
eat.
Yeah.
So, it's been fun getting to know a little bit about your background. I'm sure people enjoy kind of diving into a little bit more of the personal side, but we've all seen the news. We know December was a very difficult month for Mayfield in Kentucky. The destruction that they had to endure and experience right before the holidays was devastating. I know that you drove through that area. What was that like for you coming back home and having to drive through that type of I don't know, you can't really, I mean, it's just devastation because there's no other word for it, right? It's right before the holidays.
Yeah.
People are gearing up. I'm sure their homes had gifts and trees set up, and to see all of that just taken away in a matter of moments to community and a state that you love so much. How was that for you?
That was tough. It was tough to see that. I was actually in Paducah when the storm came through, and so the following day, I had spoke to my carpenter that works with me here at my farm, and he told me about his drive through there. And so based on his description, he told me that the pictures doesn't do it justice. And so when he said that, I got in my truck and drove down there, and I'd never seen anything like it. I don't I don't think that I'll ever forget that feeling. And I didn't experience the actual storm, but I saw the immediate aftermath of the storm, where there were power lines still in the road. People still just now coming back to see what the damage looked like. So it was pretty raw still when I saw it, and so um, I just felt sorry and empathy for the families and the businesses and the people, and not just Mayfield, but all throughout that tornado's path. It started all the way in Arkansas and went deep into the heart of Kentucky, and so there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of communities throughout that path that were completely devastated and changed forever. And so just to see that, and if you've ever known anybody or been through a loss, a fire or a flood or something where you've completely lost everything, to have to start all over from scratch, is something I can only imagine. And so I just put myself in these people's shoes and just felt like we wanted to try to help out where we could. And, we can't, do it all ourselves, but we can just lend a helping hand to let our neighbors uh, know, and our friends know that we're with them, that they're not in this by themselves. And, it's going to take a complete team effort to be able to do it, to get those communities back on their feet. And so, it was definitely something um, that was impactful. I honestly say that, I it was a constant thought in my mind, several days after I saw that. And so, just never seen anything like it before. It's hard to even put into words. Like, it really just looked like a nuclear bomb. It went off. If
Mm.
you've seen those videos on YouTube, like literally minimal, all the structures that are still standing are completely damaged.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that was that was touched by that tornado, um, had some significant damage. Nothing was unscathed if it was in its path. So, But we're still here. We're going to continue to our efforts to assist those families impacted by the storm, and it just is it's a great opportunity for us to show our humanity. Be
Yeah.
able to set aside your background, your affiliations of any kind, your political beliefs, religious beliefs. It's
Mm-hmm.
about helping your fellow man, your fellow neighbor, your fellow church member, your co-worker, you know, just a stranger. It's just to be able to show our humanity, to be able to have genuine love and concern for someone other than ourselves. And it's a great opportunity to be able to do it. And I think, you can see that in everything that's happened since. We have, um, been told that the area can't take any more supplies because there's been an abundance of support given to the area, to the families, and so it's a great example of what community should be, not just in times of adversity, but every day.
But every day, yeah. And I think that with TV, it's kind of desensitized everybody. You see it on the screen and you kind of see it, but you don't really feel that connection. Tornadoes come in just a matter of moments. So there's nothing you can do in a situation like that. I've been there when there's been a horrible flood in my hometown in Spain, and a lot of people died, and I've been in a house that's been flooded that I've been in during a hurricane. But nothing that compares to what Kentucky's going through right now, and other states that I've experienced from natural disasters. So for everybody out there that hasn't seen what took place, or some of the work that George and his community and his nonprofit have done, we've got a quick clip for you. Quick clip, if I can get my vocabulary together. Take a quick second to check it out.
Station in Mayfield, Kentucky, after a tornado ripped through that town of about 10,000 people. And Brandon Clement is a storm chaser who captured this video, and he's joining me right now on the phone. So Brandon, as we look at these pictures, it looks like just a giant steamroller just came on through, knocking down everything in its path except for a couple of resilient buildings there, right there. This looks like a historic brick building that we're looking at right here, and your drone footage captures it. So tell me about your experience along the way.
Apprentice at least, but stay tuned for more details on how you can support us.
So clearly a lot happened in a very short period of time, but seeing everyone come together the way they did was incredible. I mean, watching that back, I'm sure it has to seem like a bad dream.
Yeah, you wish that was the case, but when you see the faces of the families and the kids coming through our distribution lines, it's real. These are real people. These are real stories. These are real testimonies of survival, and they have a look of hope, knowing that people are here to help them get through these difficult and trying times. And so, while it is, tough to be able to have to go through this and endure it as a volunteer, I know it's even more trying and difficult to have to endure this and overcome this, having lived it. So, I'm just trying to do my part to help make this transition and make this adverse time for them, a little bit easier to be able to handle.
So I know that you've partnered with the Goodness Project in a lot of these relief efforts. What has that process been like? And, what has it been like, like you said, being in touch with families and them talking about, what they're going through, but also being so hopeful about their current experience right now?
It's been great. Initially I called a friend of mine down in Nashville, Tennessee. His name is Papa Joe. He does a lot of nonprofit work in the area. And so we just telling him what we had going on in Kentucky. And he just kept saying, call Bill, no matter what we say. He's like, call Bill. And so Bill is Bill Fletcher, the president of the Goodness Project. We didn't know what he meant, but we understand it now. But we didn't understand what he meant at the moment. But we called Bill Fletcher, told him what we had going on. And he just said, okay, I'll be there on Thursday. I believe we called him on Monday. He said, okay, I'll be there Thursday. We're going to bring in a semi and a couple box trucks, and we'll be bringing in some supplies, and we'll you guys help us get it out, and we'll just supply everything. And so that's what it blossomed into, along with some other organizations in the area that were here to help, and having countless volunteers to be able to show up that day. It really just all came together. Everything we needed came together, and needs, things that we needed before we knew that we needed them, were showing up. That's the crazy thing about it. And, things like that happen when your heart's in the right place and you're trying to make a great impact, a positive impact on people's lives. And the Goodness Project has been a great partner throughout this entire process.
Yeah, there's no doubt the efforts that have gone into trying to help rebuild this community are unimaginable. I mean, at a time like this, especially with the holidays around the corner, to see all the good that you guys are doing is so commendable. I know that on the news, they also highlighted some of your efforts. We're going to play a quick clip for everybody that didn't get a chance to check that out, so you can see how everything was really going down in Kentucky.
NFL stars Brian Hall and George Wilson know a lot about teamwork. So when their communities were impacted by tornadoes, they knew they had to put that teamwork to the test. This morning, Wilson and Hall partnered with volunteers from across the country to help bring relief to Western Kentucky tornado victims. Wilson and Hall hosted a Christmas giveaway for needy families today at Mayfield High School. People were able to get essential supplies like food, clothes, and hygiene products, as well as toys for Christmas. Hundreds of people came out this afternoon for the relief efforts, with volunteers coming from all over the country to help put on the event.
It's just being a great example of what teamwork, of what community really looks like, what it should look like, not just during times of disaster or times of need, but every day. We're the same. Nobody's better than the other, because it doesn't matter who you are or where you come from or what you have. It's about trying to help our fellow man, our neighbors, our friends, our co-workers, our church members, our loved ones.
And it took, there's a bottle of energy and faith that this was going to be an incredible event. Had no clue what it looked like, and then now I'm out here now. I'm just like, there's so many different people out here from all over, and just, I've been receiving hugs and just, it's crazy.
It was an awesome scene at Mayfield today. Hall is still raising money for tornado relief. You can donate directly to his cause at thefamousfund.com.
So there are some great clips in there. You can see people are still, in spite of the circumstances, in high spirits. So, aside from having to pitch in a time of need, a lot of people don't know that you fly under the radar when it comes to giving back to community. You're not really someone that looks for accolades or, public recognition for what you do when it comes to helping people. Every year, I think for the past how many years you've been hosting a shopping spree for the holidays for the kids of your community. How many years have you hosted that now?
We've done it for six years now.
6 years. So I think this year you
Well, we've done
gave.
six years for the shop with the shopping where we've partnered with Academy Sports. But before then, when I was still playing, I used to do a big toy drive with Toys for Tots and do a real big Christmas giveaway for a lot of kids in the community. And I did that for about 5 or 6 years as well. So I mean, I've been doing stuff around the holidays, for over 10 years now. But not just during that time, but throughout the year. We just try to do as much as we can and be as much of a resource to our community as we can.
So how was the George Wilson Safety Foundation started? I mean, there had to be even while you were playing, coming out of football, there's a million other things that you could do that don't require for you to have to pay it forward with your time and your attention to other people in need. Obviously, we know how much it means to you. So how did all that come about?
Well, I've always had a giving spirit. Growing up, we spent a lot of time with my grandparents that owned the farm, that I grew up working on. And so after church on many Sundays, we would go and do Bible study in homes with elderly, sick people who wasn't able to attend worship service. And so we also went to nursing homes and retirement homes to be able to have devotion in there with them as well. And so my grandparents used to send me and my cousins and my sisters to the rooms to wheel the people down to the cafeteria for the devotions and everything. And so at a young age, they just exposed us to service and helping others. And so it's been in my DNA from an infant. And so when I got in college, when I was in high school, I would go back to visit my elementary school teachers and talk to the kids in class and, tell them about, the importance of getting your education, and making good decisions. And so I just continued to do that when I went to college. I was active in the community program with the Razorbacks. We called it AAO. Arkansas Athletes Outreach. And so we did a lot of work in the community with them. And then when I got with the Buffalo Bills, I really worked closely with the community relations department and visiting schools, visiting children hospitals, and just exposing myself to the different opportunities and social causes that you can give your time and resources to. And so I just found my niche with kids, specifically, kids of school age, to be able to show them that their dreams and goals and aspirations are all possible through hard work and sacrifice and commitment and consistency, accountability, being responsible. All those attributes have sustained me, and I just try to go back and share my story and share my testimony with the next generation that's coming after us, to inspire them to be courageous and bold in pursuit of their dreams and goals in life as well. It's not going to always be sunny days and fair weather. You have to be able to overcome and persevere through adversity and the challenges that life lays before you, lays before you day in and day out. And so we started the Safety Foundation after finding our niche and wanting to do more than just do football camps. And so we started it in 2010. And we came up with the safety acronym, which was the position that I played, with Buffalo. And we use it as an acronym for our mission statement, which is saving adolescents from everyday trials of youth. And so that's just basically putting on enough the variety and a diverse course of programming to be able to equip them with the life skills and the life experiences to be able to prepare them for the decisions that they have to make day in and day out as an adult.
Looking back on your journey, did you ever imagine yourself reaching the level of success that you have?
I knew I was going to make it to the NFL, and I know it may sound arrogant or cocky, but I knew. I prayed about it every night, and I knew I was willing to put the work into it. I'll never forget, my high school coach was talking to us one day after practice about academics. Some guys were not getting their study hall hours in, or were not, making good grades in the classroom. And so he was telling us the importance of education and how less than 1% of us would make it to the NFL. And so I remember being on the knee next to my teammate, David Dobbins was his name. And I turned to David and I told him, I'm going to be in that less than 1%. And I meant that. I knew that. I believed that. And everything that I did reflected that. Whether I was on the practice field, I was on the game field, or I was in the classroom. My approach to life and my work ethic didn't fluctuate depending if I was doing sports or if I was working at the farm or if I was working on my grades in the classroom. I had a one size fit all approach, which is work hard no matter what you're doing, give your very best and do your very best, and we can live with whatever the results were. And I knew that if I just had gotten the opportunity that I'd make the most of it. And so, I thought and I truly believed that I would make it to the NFL. I didn't know how. I just knew that's something I prayed about. And I prayed to God each and every night the same prayer, that God, if you bless me to be able to see my dreams, that I won't be selfish with the blessings that come with it. And so that's why I'm still giving to this day. He allowed me to live my dream of playing in the NFL for 11 years, And so now it's up to me to hold up my end of the bargain.
Which you're doing. Which you're definitely doing.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a lot of times when you see somebody on TV or you see them on social media or, in the public eye, you don't always see how much goes into it or how passionate they really are about something. Because a lot of times people have teams that take care of it. But you've always been really hands-on with the things you're passionate about. I'm just curious. I had one question for you. In your career, in your life so far, what's been one highlight moment for you that stands out the most? And you can't say anything, George.
No, I won't. No, for me, my highlight moment for me was that clip you showed, my interception on Monday Night Football against the Dallas Cowboys, because that play was like a climax almost, or at least an arrival for me, because I got that opportunity using the same attributes that I was talking about that being exposed to farm life afforded me. Mm-hmm. And so I worked up my way up from the practice squad as a wide receiver and switching positions to safety. And in the same season I switched positions to safety, I go from being third on the depth chart to within 5 weeks having my first career start as a safety. I haven't played safety since high school. And I make my first career start and end up starting 9 games that season. And so that's just just added to my testimony. Mm-hmm. You don't change positions in the NFL like that. That's not something that's very common. Most people, may do it for a season or two, but I ended up playing more than 8 years after that, and so for that to happen, I just knew that I could make plays as a safety. I made the transition. I made a play in my first game on national TV at that. And so now it just gave me the confidence of a lifetime that I knew that I could be an impact player as a safety and that I could sustain my career and I could change the course of my family. Before that, I didn't have any real resources to be able to say that, I changed my family's life. I changed, the set of circumstances that I grew up in, and so that opportunity was disguised as hard work. And a lot of opportunities in life are disguised that way. And so for me, I hadn't caught any passes as a wide receiver. And so I was like, what do I have to lose? And so that's definitely the highlight moment for me, because that kickstarted my second half of my playing career as a safety, which put me in position to be able to have a platform with a foundation, to be able to give me the resources to buy this farm, to be able to start some businesses, and be able to start to put my family on a trajectory of having generational wealth. And that's ultimately my goal, is to be able to not only impact my family in that way, but to impact my community and help change the perspective of money and how to value money, how to leverage money, how to use money in a way to be able to achieve your goals and be able to change your family dynamics, change your family environment, and change your family outlook, not just for you, but for the generation of your family and your community that comes after you.
Everyone's journey, it's so easy to capture a moment in a picture or in a video, but to actually live it and experience it and see that come full circle for you after you've put in so much work is incredible. It's been such a
Like
pleasure.
that, I don't mean to cut you off, but like I know we're about to go, but like that moment, that wasn't just me. That was my whole town. Like God, I felt the spirit of every person in Paducah because I know they were living through me in that moment. There's a lot of people that had more talent or had, opportunities that I had that didn't, do right by them. But now they get to see somebody that they grew up with, somebody they went to school with or church with, living out their dream on the biggest stage, and they were there celebrating it with me. And so, like being from a small town, we get looked over a lot, especially in the South. They think we're slow and, don't really know a whole lot. But like that was our moment. That was our moment to shine. The commentator said Paducah. And I think everybody that's from Paducah, that went to school in Paducah, or knew somebody in Paducah immediately lit up because, we all won that night. We all was in that moment. We all celebrated. I had countless text messages and phone calls and voicemails because everybody was celebrating in that moment because we all won. And we're still benefiting from that moment and from that opportunity to this day.
Yeah, that's incredible. What a feeling, right? It'd be hard to top that moment.
Of life.
Yeah,
that's the beauty of life.
It is.
You never know. You never know how one moment will change your life, but also you never know how many other people's blessings are connected to your dreams as well. That's why you got to keep going. You got to keep fighting. You got to keep striving because you never know who else is down the road waiting for you to come through and give them a message of hope because you done been through it. You done lived what they going through. And you gave them that inspiration they need right when they needed it. So you got to keep fighting. You got to get up and put one foot in front of the other each and every day, no matter what lies ahead of you.
Right. Well, like they say, nothing worth having comes easy, right? So, once you put in the work, you hope that it's going to come around full circle like it did for you. You have such an incredible story. It really has been such a pleasure chatting with you and getting to allow everybody to get to know you a little bit better, and also all the relief efforts that have taken place for Kentucky. If anybody wanted to come keep up with you, I know that you have your Instagram if you'd like to drop that, or anywhere else where they can reach out and keep in touch with you.
Yeah, you can find me on the gram at GW the Cultivator, and then you can find me on Facebook under my name George Wilson. You can also find me at Phonograph Farms as well. But just check us out, see what we got going. We're definitely trying to grow this farm and show farm life in a different light, not just picking vegetables or having livestock. We're trying to have fun. We're trying to create multiple streams of income to one property and create an experience while impacting lives for good at the same time. So it's fun.
Creating lifetime moments. Listen, I think you forgot one though, because you also partake in some other things. Don't you have the experience side as well, now that you're talking about that?
Yeah, we do events. I'm actually building a venue up right now. And so we do, outdoor dining experiences. I do live entertainment. We have paint and sip experiences. We're building a home on the property for people to be able to use as a bridal suite or Airbnb. We'll be finishing up with that and getting started on our indoor facility. And so we got a lot of projects going. We're going to be expanding our growing and produce production area this year. So it's a great time here at Phonograph Farms. It's a great time to be able to help other people and use our platform and our resources to be able to help the people impacted by those tornadoes last month as well.
Right. I can see you're a busy man. Do you ever get to sleep with everything you're doing?
Yeah, I try to make some time. Yeah, it's all good. We just take it a day at a time.
It's been such a pleasure, George. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back. Make sure you guys don't go anywhere. You're listening to The Abbie Knights Show.
Wake your ass up. It's time for the Abbie Knights Morning Show, the best show in the city.